What's up, tribe? It is your best friend Champ coming at you with another video. Before I get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, and share this video with all your friends so that they can join the conversation. And lastly, remember to subscribe so that you can stay plugged in when I post new content. Unless you're living under a rock, you obviously are aware of what's happening, not just in Minneapolis, not just in LA, but around the world. So many cities, hundreds of thousands of people have gathered together to protest against the murder of another unarmed black man, #George Floyd. And this comes in the wake of the tragedy that is Breonna Taylor and also the tragedy that is Ahmaud Arbery. Now the facts are this. George Floyd was accused of trying to commit forgery, which was false. The store he was at called the police on him in a situation of excessive force. An officer is obviously not equipped to de-escalate a situation. He was pinned down with the officer's knee on his neck for 9 minutes and he died. Autopsy reports claim that his death was not because of asphyxiation or strangulation, but George Floyd's family have decided to hire a private person to do an autopsy so that they can confirm these details, because honestly, I don't believe anything that anybody says. At this point in my life, 2020, I'm 31 years old, I question everything. You're not going to give me information I'm going to take it as fact. I am going to show myself approved, which is what the Bible says. Huh? The people are mad. The people are mad as hell. And we have taken to the streets and we are calling out social injustice once again. But how many times do we have to peacefully protest for you to understand that something needs to change in our police system, in our law enforcement system, in our government? The peaceful protests were a great demonstration of solidarity around the world. Philadelphia, Minneapolis, New York, Miami, LA, Sacramento, Oakland, London, Berlin, South Africa. But here is what I want to say. Riots happened, looting happened, places were vandalized and spray painted, and all these people coming into peaceful protests and tearing shit up. And the media and social media and all these naysayers around the world felt emboldened to place the blame on black peaceful protesters. The Black Lives Matter movement and all of the people on the front lines protesting peacefully, which is their constitutional right. But it has clearly been proven by live stream footage, by photos, by real accounts of people who were actually in the protests, by reporters who were arrested live on camera. So many accounts of people confirming that those who were aggressive, those who were vandalizing property, those who were rioting and setting cop cars on fire were white people. And I have the pictures to prove it. Matter of fact, Exhibit A. Because I was really upset at all the black celebrities who came out in droves. And there was a Twitter thread that has called them all out. All these black celebs who were so quick to say, oh, look at my people, I'm so ashamed. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what you're saying. Like, oh, condemning the looters and like, look at my people. And it's like, if you would just wait for a moment, be objective and get the facts, you will see that your people are representing you very well. Because while you're in your little mansion, Little old black folks in the ghetto and beyond are protesting on behalf of all melanated folk. But a few cities have come out to say that all of the protesters that they have arrested, 80% of them are from out of town. And even a percentage of them are linked to white supremacist groups. And then you have people who are putting on their social media and posting pictures of how you have undercover cops infiltrating peaceful protests. You have all these people from an organization that people call Antifa infiltrating these peaceful protests for their own intentions and their own agenda. Antifa is a militant fascist group that believes in anarchy. There are these groups who infiltrate peaceful protests for their own political gain. They're the ones who throw bricks at cop cars. They're the ones who set your buildings on fire. They're the ones who agitate police officers to incite a riot. And then the people who are peacefully protesting, who look like me, are fighting for their lives because these agitators are trying to push their own agenda, which is not for George Floyd. And of course, you also have other people who are just taking advantage of the moment to loot. Lil Wayne and LL Cool J, B. Simone, Desi Banks, Shamik Moore. Shamik Moore had the nerve to say that Rosa Parks should have caught a cab. Mind you, if you were smart, nigga, you would know that Rosa Parks taking a stand on the bus was a calculated move by those fighting for civil rights. They chose Rosa Parks to be a beacon so that they can organize a nationwide protest. So no, she couldn't have caught a cab. Stupid. You're Spider-Man. Come on, bruh. What were you thinking? A cab? I need the world to be more objective when it comes to things like these, because you have to stop reading headlines and that be your whole narrative. You have to stop watching just 20-second, 30-second videos and that feeds your narrative. You have to stop, reading what someone says that pretty much endorses your thought process and now that feeds your narrative. It's like, get all the facts. Please, just like the white man who has now been dubbed Hawkeye online because he had a bow and arrow and was shouting all lives matter and was pointing arrows in a crowd of peaceful protesters. So what do? They bum rushed his ass. Then the news interviewed him like he was a victim when he was the one who agitated these protesters and was threatening to shoot them with a bow and arrow. Also, the man who is being plastered on all news outlets that he was attacked by protesters for defending his store. This man had a sword and was chasing peaceful protesters. If you chase me with a sword, sir, you're going to catch these hands, okay? And the store that he was supposedly defending, he didn't even own it. So this is just a man who wants to insert himself into something, and then the media takes that image of a man caught on the ground like, oh, he's being attacked. No, he was the attacker and they were defending themselves. A lot is going on. A lot is happening. But to me, it feels different and it feels very powerful. And lastly, a lot of people are saying, well, after the looting stops, after the riot stop, what do we do next? What do we do? And I feel like I feel like the black community is really missing a stone cold leader. And it's because the black community has so many different agendas, because there's so many groups with their own different ideas of how to progress the black community. It's hard. Is it Mark Lamont Hill? Is it Killer Mike? Is it Cardi B? Is it D-Ray? Who is it? Who speaks for all of us? But I feel like a lot of people are asking the questions, well, what happens next? And here's a few things that I think that should happen. as far as it comes to police reform. One, I applaud the university in Minneapolis for ending their contract with the police department. And a few other businesses have cut contracts with the local police department. You know, a lot of off-duty cops, they're hired to be security for other events in the city, and so a lot of entities are ending their contracts. And I think that's a good job. We need to hashtag defund police and let them know that if you don't change, we're going to hit you where it hurts, and that is obviously your pockets. Besides the tactic of defunding the police, I also feel like when it comes to police reform, we need a national blacklist of all officers who were fired from duty because of some nefarious reason. If that means they have had multiple cases of excessive force, if they have wrongful deaths of citizens, you know, if they have went to court and lost or whatever have you. A lot of times these officers who are fired from the police department, they end up transferring about 2 states over. But their behavior doesn't change because they're not regulated and they're not monitored and they're not retrained. Also, we need to do a national checklist of officers who have a high amount of complaints against them, specifically of excessive force and deaths. All that needs to be taken into account. And if there are police officers who have a high count of complaints against them, they need to be removed. Let me explain something to you. I have worked for several corporations. I worked at Old Navy, Forever 21, the Wax Museum in Hollywood. I worked for Ashley Furniture, the movie theater downtown LA. I worked for all these different companies. And you know what they all have in common? They have policies. And if you continue to break their policies, you will be fired. You get a warning, you get 3 write-ups. They all have their own system of how they handle employees who break the rules. And the same needs to go for police officers because you have a duty. The job is hard. I know that it is. But you still have to uphold what you have taken an oath to do. And if you continue to handle police situations the way you think you should handle them, and it results in wrongful deaths and excessive force, people being hospitalized, you need to be held accountable for that, and you need to be let go. Once again, I'm your best friend, Champ, and I will see you next